Please don't die.
And we killed Jerry. Good evening, everyone.
That's what happens when you open a stream with a deep throat.
Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, indeed.
How kind of you to just interrupt me. Thank you very much. I was gonna say, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the state of Sprita for this month. We did not kill our DM. She is still present. We have hit a bit of a end to the narrative arc of the menagerie. We have lost somebody, we have gained somebody, if we hadn't scared her off yet. And to represent some of that downtime that our characters are going to have to get to know each other and to maybe finally work on some secret projects, we are taking a little break from our big campaign, as we are going to be running, don't worry, we're not leaving you hanging, we're going to be running some one-shots to showcase certain aspects of the system, to let people who haven't been able to join the campaign maybe play in one of those one-shots to get a feel for the system, to maybe allow the DM to play in a game or two. So, if you're watching and or listening and you're like, damn, I would love to give that a shot, come join our Discord and we will keep a slot open for you to play.
Yeah, I just posted a link in the chat. Like, even if you just have questions today, feel free to like ask it either in the chat, or if you want a longer talk, just come in. Like, our voice chat is completely open at the moment. So I will keep an eye on the chat in case there are any questions.
Okay, lovely. As for the fact that our system is late alpha, we will be stress testing some things in some of the one-shots as well. And last session, we had a test of the new momentum system. So I would like to have a brief check-in with everybody what they thought of it. So as you may or may not know, the system for momentum became, instead of being a point system that you could tally up and keep track of, it became more literal momentum in the sense that it became on-the-spot bonuses. And we had a bit of a momentum train going last session as well.
Until I failed my rolls.
So I wanted to know from everybody how they felt about the changes.
Honestly, I think it feels a lot more fluid than before. Because you don't interrupt the gameplay with like just calculating how much momentum you have, like what costs what, and just like all that.
I like it for, well, one of the big reasons I like it is it creates a sort of movement, because like as your characters start feeling more successful in what they're doing, it affects how they do it. I'd like to say, you know, when you're confident and you just do stuff better in that headspace.
Yeah.
But as soon as you fuck up major, you're just like, oh god, oh fuck.
Yeah,
keeps going downhill from there.
Yeah, it just reminds me, especially if you fail with a 1 after like a 3 momentum, like there is this one quote in Darkest Dungeon that overconfidence is the most insidious killer.
Yes.
Linkus, you brought up the concern that the old system encouraged unnecessary rolls. How do you feel about the changes now?
Well, that depends on how mean you want me to be. I think it's an improvement.
Okay.
That is coming from a harsh critic, so that's great.
Yeah,
but
the meanest I can be is that now it's got the same sort of problem that, to a much lesser extent, a similar problem that D20, like D&D and so on, had. Where, with few exceptions, a 20 is always a success, a 1 is always a failure. Now you've got a D10 where a 10 is usually a very good thing, and a 1 is always a but. This has gone from a 5% chance of botching to a 10% chance of botching.
Not really, because you still need to remember that it's a matter of if you succeed, you get that. If you don't, you don't. Like that roll still needs to be a success with a current system, right?
Yeah. The system
So-
is called succeeding with a 10 or failing with a 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's not succeeding because of a 10 and failing because of a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in that case, yeah, no, yeah, I'm a lot more on board with it then.
Okay.
And that wasn't changed. That was always implemented that way. It was specifically the momentum we changed.
I think it was just a matter of
I've read the
misunderstanding.
call book. I've read the book. I know what the rules are.
Of course you did. Of course you know them.
We got one win out of them. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing to remember, I still have you can use the momentum, like you can spend the momentum to do things. I changed the costs for things, so you still have the chance of banking it for certain immediate effects, like for a search. You can still do that.
Mhm.
It's just completely get rid of momentum if you want to give a +1. You know.
But that will be showcased as the campaign picks back up.
Mhm.
Maybe in a one shot, but not in all for sure.
It all depends on the luck of the players.
Indeed.
I'm gonna try to get by next week ready the new corollary system as well, the one for integrities.
Oh.
Basically, at the moment, the only reason for you to pursue integrity is if you lose a mental statistic point. I want to make sure that pursuing integrities becomes rewarding in and of itself without it being just a necessity. Only for the mental statistics. I still need to see how to implement that, but I have a couple of ideas that I need to toss around.
Okay. I believe
Mhm.
that concludes our mechanics update.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be now diving into the questions.
Yeah.
Once again,
Yay.
questions will be taken from chat, from our Discord channel, and from ourselves. Because we too have questions. And I think my first question out of personal interest would be to Leo.
Yes.
How did John take Goodman's call? And how upset is he with Nano about it?
Ah, yes.
That's actually a really good question. I actually really have to think about that one. So I think John's just a tiny bit pissed at Nano for outing him like that, but not in a not enough to be like, oh, now I'm gonna get revenge. Just like a why'd you have to do that? Kind of pissed off.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because I feel like John always had that kind of lingering in the back of his mind of like, he's going to find out at some point, and it's just, how much is he going to know me, and how much is he going to like me by the time he finds out?
Mm-hmm.
And so, going through that whole thing of, oh, at least he doesn't hate me, and he still thinks I'm at least somewhat of a good person. So I think John kind of took that call pretty well, because not everything came crashing down and burning.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely was not expecting it, and was just like, son of a bitch, I would have liked to prepare first.
Nope. Not preparing.
And as a player, I fucking loved that.
Oh god, yeah, no, that was so good. I was dying.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
full fucking great.
Yeah, my characters might not like it, but me as a player, I fucking love it. Just like throw me a curveball. I'm just like, yes, let me see how I can play with this.
I mean, I have to say, last time, Nano just
Nano was on a
went
fucking
savage
roll.
on
Holy
everyone.
shit! Yeah.
Oh god!
I for like a lot of sessions, I was like, you know, all of us are getting the spotlight. I wonder when Nano's gonna get her own spotlight. Boom!
Boom. We all got
And yet,
destroyed.
somehow, I managed to still make it about the other players.
Indeed.
Well, since we are having this line of questioning, Magpie, did you and a surgeon have a chat after the surprise visit?
Most probably yes, I would say. It was very awkward. We have a little date in the cafe that you advised, and yeah. It was very awkward, the chat. As per usual.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say, par for the course for them. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just their energy. It's their whole thing. Hannah,
Yes.
I'm just quickly going down the line.
Okay,
How
what's up?
I don't think upset is the right word, but how disappointed is Panda that she has not yet managed to run into Nano's charge at the classes?
Not very. They just kind of want to meet the person that Dennis is obviously fawning over.
And you have no suspicion that that is the same person?
They have plenty suspicion just because they just believe it has to be. It has to be.
Panda is a hopeless
Oh.
romantic, and it's just like, that would be the perfect, like, just...
Yeah.
It would
a
be so
rom-com
nice.
scene.
We're gonna be a big family. Yes.
That's not fair. I think there's lots of hope for Panda.
Yeah. Panda's vibing, you know, I'm good. Eating good.
Lemuria, what was your take on the barbecue?
I didn't as I said during the session, I was not sure what was going on for most of that. I was in a bit of a bad mood as a character, so I wasn't paying total attention.
We noticed. No, because you didn't necessarily want to go to the barbecue, but you definitely wanted to meet the new person, but then you did not interact with them.
Well, I think I ended up not really needing to. Like, you seem to have it all under control, trying to shoot their head off. I just went, you know what? That's more traumatizing than anything I can come up with. You're good.
I mean, you say that. Do I need to remind you of your little chat with Panda?
I had a chat with Panda.
Yeah, you told them why you hate them.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
very proud of that.
Since we are on the topic, Panda, how did you take that? Now that it has sunken in a little bit.
They fucked that. That's fucked. That felt like 12 inches in the ass. That was horrible. It's just a bunch
Very
of shame and
descriptive.
guilt.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it feels like, you can imagine it.
How, obligated do they feel to try and fix that now?
They feel like they have to start with the problem that they've already been dedicated to, but as soon as that's over, they're going to have to fully dig into what they've done. Less to relieve themselves of guilt and more to free those people if they can.
During that conversation, I think it became rather obvious that the entire party knew about this but didn't tell you. Did that upset them?
A little bit, but they could understand why the party wouldn't want to tell them.
Yeah, I just
Except-
assumed they had.
Nope.
No, like No one told. This was so amazing. We've been going like how many episodes have we been going with that as a
Definitely
secret
hurt.
for Panda?
Definitely
Well, we
20-ish.
found out the day Lemuria joined.
Yeah, like it was episode 5, episode 6.
Something like that, yeah. Honestly, I feel like Magpie just thought that Panda would know about it because she has no clue how all
Yeah.
this ether stuff works, so...
Yeah, I kind of figured that, like, because we all were in the same room when that kind of came up, and I thought, oh, Panda's handling it well. I was wrong.
You were wrong. Panda was not handling it well.
Oh no! Oh no!
And Nano was
Panda
actively shutting Lemuria up, like, shush, don't.
Panda has not cried since before the gate crash.
And Lemuria's laughing because he's going a bit psychopathic now.
Yeah.
Of course.
Dick nugget.
Get in.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, please.
Now, we officially have been allowed downtime. This means we will probably discuss some things with the DM in between sessions. What are your guys' plans for downtime? What will your
Building
characters
shit.
be doing?
Panda will be probably forging and trying to spend more time with Janine and Dennis.
Has Janine moved in with you now? Did we catch that last session?
Yes, she has.
Yeah, she has unofficially moved in. She has claimed some wardrobe space. Or something like that.
Left a toothbrush.
So if you ever see her in a very boy band shirt that is far too big,
It's Panda's.
With holes in the back for the wings.
Obviously.
with holes
Okay.
Let's
inside
not
the
forget
wing,
that. Or the wings just
That was-
sticking out like
It's one of those tank tops.
that doesn't have sides at all.
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be a crop top, but it just works.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of crafting does Panda plan on doing?
So Dennis needs a piece.
He needs a what now?
Oh shit. You know, I keep forgetting I'm not in the hood anymore. Dennis needs a gun.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got that. Don't worry. I got what you meant.
I'm not sure if I misheard the first word you said.
Aren't you trying to make one for Dennis at the moment?
That's what
Yeah,
they
that's
said.
what I said.
Dennis needs a piece.
Oh, Dennis needs a piece. Okay.
Oh, peace.
There's
Peace. I
peace.
heard something different.
Okay, like here when someone says that they need a piece, it's like a piece of toast. Usually, so I'm like, I was really
That's
fucking confused
always
there.
a necessity.
I heard Dennis needs a penis, and I'm like, what?
Okay,
No.
yeah. I'm not
Wait
sure
on
that's
it.
allowed on Twitch.
Old Town is rough, you know.
Guys, I'm not sure that's allowed on Twitch.
Okay.
It's not
let's
the only
not.
implant that he has.
Oh
No.
god.
No.
Does it have a vibrate function as well?
No.
It also rotates and enlarges.
Stop
And
talking about
I'm sort
my
of falling
child
with
like
character.
this.
Yeah, it's this is definitely not within terms of service, guys. Especially that technically Dennis is still a minor.
Dennis is a fucking baby.
No, I
Cease
mean,
this
of course.
He's a
thought tree.
teenager. He's late teens.
That's not
Mid,
happening.
mid
Like,
to
don't
late
worry.
teens.
Cease your thought tree.
Anyways.
Gloria, what are you
Contract.
planning with downtime?
I'm planning to get to know some of the sleazier underbelly of the city. Like
Okay.
figure out the gangs who are working for, and particularly the like if there are any corporations behind them.
That's some
Interesting.
very deep digging.
Yeah.
But now that we've got Merryweather on side, and I'm a charismatic bastard, and she's got spies.
Ah, yes, Merryweather.
It's McCleary, darling.
She's always Merryweather to me.
Oh yeah,
At
she's
this
a good
point,
fairy.
floating gas.
Merryweather to me. How romantic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do keep in mind, this is gonna be made clear very soon. The whole backing that you received, it was because someone was benefiting from it.
Yeah, we've lost that asset. I'm very much aware.
Yeah.
The only way we will now get assets from them is for bringing down the competition.
Oh god.
Yeah. I'm not sure we are suited to be corporate spies and for corporate espionage.
We
Yeah,
stand out a little too much.
Yeah.
It depends what level we're talking about. Like, it depends what sort
I
of
was talking
operations are we
about
talking.
the eagle eye on today's problems.
Oh, well, oh. That's gonna be interesting.
Level 20 party with some skills to level 4 is on corporate.
So, Miss Magpie, what are you finally going to do with your downtime now that you have some?
So Magpie's probably gonna fix up Hornet a little bit, look into the drone that we acquired, reprogram it, probably work a little bit on the legs that she started working on, and go through the Golemancy shop that now she possesses the keys for.
Yes. Like
Lot
way
of things.
back.
A lot of things, yeah. And also, like, slowly planning on killing Rockster as well, which she plans to achieve by the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
We have hit February, right?
Yeah, we are at the beginning of February.
Yeah, the first
So
week
you're
of February.
giving yourself a month to plan an assassination.
Yeah, it doesn't
Interesting.
We
doesn't
planned
need
an
to be
assassination
perfect.
in less time.
Yeah, exactly. Like
We've planned it in 2 days. Yeah, that's true.
just like Leon said. Yeah, I sort of have a plan for it. It's torture.
Definitely.
Torture.
Mhm.
Leon,
Nice.
do you have any plans for this?
Character establishment.
Yeah.
Because I literally had I not left John, it probably would have been trying to woo Goodman, but because that's not on the table anymore, character establishment.
Mhm. And how would she go about doing this?
Let's see. It's so it would be probably doing like favors for the team as well as spending time with their children. I tried to say children and kids at the same time. It came out kids. Spending time with their children.
Kids.
The
Yeah.
chids.
That sounds like a good idea.
Sorry, already
Okay,
there's
quick gossip. The headphones are off. Damn it, too late.
there's gonna be some jingling from the background because Kitten requires attention right at this
Of
moment.
course. What about Nano? What are Nano's plans for downtime?
Oh, God.
You brought face upon yourself.
I know, but usually when you ask the questions, people forget you.
Yeah.
Not
Kind of
this
last time.
time.
I asked a question, everyone forgot about me.
Let's see. What is she gonna do? I think she's gonna try and write some coding scripts
Mhm.
so that she has a bit more of a variety of digital attacking and defending she can do.
Mhm. Makes sense.
I can help with coding, not so much with hacking.
Any help can be useful in this. Maybe start researching the mage and the eagle.
Okay.
I think she's gonna like start taking her charge on missions,
Ooh.
but like our system is being weird, come help us fix it kind of missions.
Yeah, this is sort of like usual IT calls. Like,
Yeah.
hello, Ark, we need our IT is just got shot by a virus. Please come help.
Yeah,
Sort
so
of thing.
I
Zero
imagine
risk
she would
missions. Sorry.
do some of those missions with her so she can get some practical experience.
Mhm.
And then I can almost imagine that we would get a house guest, name starting with a D.
Well, you don't sound too happy about that, Chief.
Nana would not be happy about that.
Shame.
This is gonna be some sort of telltale thing. Nano will remember this.
Yeah.
Nana will
Yes,
remember this.
she will.
How many times have we made that kind of joke though, where this is
A
just a
lot
telltale
of
game?
times. A lot of times.
Once we have enough fans, somebody will make a compilation of it.
Yes.
Rest in
Yes.
peace, Telltale.
To the future of anyone watching this from the backlogs, I am begging you, please make a compilation of running gags that we do.
Oh fuck yeah, that'll be so good.
I will watch the shit out of that.
Yes, then we will share it
Yeah.
everywhere.
It will
Yes,
be
we will.
everywhere. It will be posted like everywhere.
Like, expect to get that link in the community Discord server.
Yep.
Oh, community Discord server, Facebook page, Twitter page. It will be.
Mad shoutouts.
What else would she be doing? I think she might look into acquiring some hardware that would boost her HP.
That sounds like a good plan. Yes.
Because I just realized, I think, except for Lemuria, I have the lowest HP from the entire party, and as a war droid, that does not make sense.
Nope.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No.
What's your HP? What's your HP?
Oh god, let me pull her up.
I guarantee you mine's lower.
What level are you, darling?
3.
3.
Nano's HP is... It's loading, give me a second. 22.
How?
Yeah, we're both higher.
Magpie has 30 HP.
I have 14.
You're all die clearly.
You want to know why it's so
I have
low?
30.
Why?
My constitution is a 6.
So is mine.
But Synths get a +2 HP at level up.
Yeah.
And a 4 to start with, so that means that Lemuria can't have 11 HP because he gets
we
10
need
just
to
for
get
being a
through
robot.
that. We need to get through that as well. Like 10 will be just for the robot. Probably.
Linkus,
have you forgot to roll for the HP, perhaps?
Probably.
grab
Yeah, makes
yourself
sense.
a few dice and
course.
roll them right now on stream. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
What's your constitution die?
Okay, but I'm trying to log into Roll20.
You don't need to roll
You
on
don't
Roll20,
need
just
to
grab
roll-
some
yeah.
dice from your drawer.
Yeah, you just.
Or just Google Dice Roller.
That just broke a few things. Yeah, I'm gonna do this digitally.
Okay.
Can't trust nobody out here. Always breaking shit. Can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you
My
done this.
controllers, my life, my dignity.
Your legs.
What am I rolling for this?
Your D constitution.
3 times your constitution.
No, well, 2 because it's the first.
Yeah,
I suspect that he did the first roll.
And then never again. Sweet. My Constitution's a D8.
Okay,
roll
2d8.
2d8.
So that's a 1 and a 3.
You get 8 more HP.
Because you take at least half.
Yeah.
So that's 10. Plus 8 is 18. Plus a
Yep.
full 8 at level 1. Which
26.
would be 26. Would be your actual HP right now. Which means you beat Nano.
Although my
He's
actual
kinda
max
picky
is
now.
24 because it's 26 minus 2 because I took death.
I mean, because you are. Because you are. What did you take?
Because I had to, I died last session, so I had to take...
Oh, yeah, you have a grievous one to repair, so you are at 26. But yes.
24.
So, do you feel a
Ain't
bit
we
more
a party?
confident rolling into battle now?
Nope.
I cannot blame you.
Memorial rolls in a battle.
Literally. Yeah, I think those would be her most prominent activities.
Makes sense.
Mhm. I imagine that if we are indeed getting a house guest, there will be a lot of baking done.
I mean, do remember the rat poison?
Oh, I'm very much
I'm just
aware
gonna
of
try to
that.
send them over with something.
Rat poison?
Yeah,
Stop trying
I'm
to kill my
aware what
children.
the ingestion of rat poison does to the human body.
Please stop trying to kill my children, everyone.
Is it
I just-
within stream regulations to describe the slow death caused by rat poison?
Please don't. try to
No,
kill
but
my
it
children.
might put you on some lists in the US.
We are role players. We're already on so many
Yeah.
fucking lists.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Just imagine being
Just
a
to
writer
remember-
doing research.
I don't
Just a
care about any
reminder
of
to
those
my
lists. Just
GOC,
get me on a playlist.
Lincoln?
Just a reminder to my GOC agent, I am in fact a writer and not a terrorist.
Same here.
To the FBI.
Artist.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Please
Don't
give
get
us
us
a
fucked
follow
up.
and a like.
I'm
Yeah,
about
it's-
to
it's
post
highly
a
appreciated.
Suspicious
lie
things to keep you busy.
on my
Yeah.
American grill.
Yeah, give us those Bezos dollars as well, like subscribe to Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
Eh.
But yeah.
Okay, did anybody else prepare any questions before I continue?
So
I
to the
didn't
party.
prepare any. I'm gonna freelance.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I didn't prepare any, but I'm sure gonna freelance. Give it.
Yeah.
Jake.
Magpie
to the
will.
party.
Sorry, Magpie will probably like clean up her flat as well because reasons. Because why not?
Call what?
She will clean up her flat.
Oh.
Because yeah,
Oh dear.
I know. The world is upside down.
It is.
I mean, you cannot bring a girl home into that mess. Like, come on.
Fair.
So it's already a mess again after Nano cleaned it?
Obviously,
She does
it's been like 2 weeks. Like, come on.
I would expect like it was a mess the moment when Nano put her
Left.
foot out of the door.
Nah, it took a
Like,
couple of days. It took a couple of days for the laundry and all that shit to pile up.
Okay, yeah, no, fair. So to the party as a whole, how do you feel about the relations between yourselves after you went through so much together in these last weeks?
I think like Nano sees all the humans as like adopted children and she doesn't quite know how to deal with that. And then John left and she was just like, Okay, let's make this definitive exit. Done. And yeah, I think Lemuria is like everything she would be scared of, like being. She's like, he represents what everybody thinks sins are, or all the bad things people might say about sins, and she hates him for it.
Ooh.
But she's also, at some level, kind of feeling obligated to help him because she feels like she would be most capable of understanding what he's going through, because there aren't many sins that are highly independent that haven't been humans before and consciously made that transition to a full shell, or because of medical reasons. That's also a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is my relations.
I feel like after the past couple of weeks, Magpie trusts the party a little bit more. She almost fully trusts Nano, like a little bit less after what she just pulled, but but still, like Magpie trusts Nano the most out of everyone. But she quite likes the party as a whole. She finds Lemuria weird and intimidating, but not as mostly because of what he is, because she's not quite sure what he actually is, because he's a synth, but he's not a synth, and it's just weird. Magic.
Magpie doesnn't do magic anyways.
Magpie doesn't do magic anyways. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
And like obviously they are all like almost BFFs with Panda as well, junkyard buddies. So that's there as well.
Oh yeah.
And
You are Panda's BFF.
yeah, she's gonna miss John, but she's really glad that Regina is joining the party, since Magpie has known her for a while, even if like not that closely, but they have known each other for a while now.
Yeah, at least it's a face, you know.
It's a face. It's a normal person.
Wow.
A normal person. I mean,
normal person.
she is joining the menagerie, so
True.
make of that what you will.
Leon, you have to answer this question twice.
I do.
Yeah.
It's so answering for John. I think John really liked the party. Like, just full stop. I think John spent a lot of time. John was a bit of a lonely kid, with the exception of Panda's character, because I think we've dropped hints enough to where we can probably come out and say it, that they were friends in childhood, and aside from Panda, John didn't have any friends, and once John kind of ran away from home, he was on his own, and the party felt like a family to him, and he was very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where, like, a few hours after knowing him, John was like, "Hey, I'm willing to take a favor, to go into debt for another favor for you to get your identity to Lemuria," and that kind of thing. And there is something that the party does not know, and I'm wondering if it's okay if I can tell them.
It's your call.
So one of the secret, in one of the secret chat things, when John was meeting back up with his mom for the first time, she had made mention that she was willing to kill any one member of the party.
Oh yeah.
So does. And I was like in that kind of headspace of, oh, I am the character, and I was just completely floored. Like, I would never want any of these people to die. What the hell? Like, John cared so much about them. He actually was afraid of his mom, that thinking his mom might actually kill one of them.
Are you treating you well? Do I need to kill any of them?
Mom, it's okay. They're fine, I swear.
That's pretty much how the conversation went.
Yep. And when it comes to Regina, I think she's very conflicted right now. Because she, in large part due to Nano.
I'm shocked.
Can't imagine why.
She knew Magpie for a while because of work reasons. And so she's like, I'm kind of in a shitty situation. The only reason I'm doing this is because I need to make more money than I currently am. And so she's like, all right, well, I'm going to go meet the people I'm going to be working with. And, it's nice and all that. And she's giving Owen the benefit of the doubt. I feel like she's a very open-minded person when she first meets people. And then she just gets a gun pointed to her head and she's just like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Am I going to be able to get home to my kids after this? Like,
I'm going to a barbecue and now I'm getting shot in the face. What the fuck?
it was one of those where she had to take stock of her priorities because she wasn't sure how well she would work with the team after that. Going, well, if one of them's going to threaten me, I don't know if this will work out. But she doesn't have much of a choice, so she's sticking around for now. And I feel like we could probably resolve that later down the line.
Oh yeah, no. Have you ever seen Chabimu's videos on YouTube?
No.
They all have titles like a woman went to a barbecue, this is what happened to her head. And it's all these medical cases about people, they drank like coffee and this is what happened to their spine because it was connected somehow that this happened. And this whole thing with Regina kind of reminds me of that. Like, this woman went to a barbecue. This is what happened to her. This is how she broke her leg. Like, sort of thing.
Not gonna lie, sounds very clickbaity.
This is how she was mentally scarred forever.
She's going to be very hesitant, with the exception, I feel, of Magpie, to bring her children around any of them. Because
Understandable.
Valid.
I feel like had that not happened, she would have been like, "Here's my kids," because she would have still them. But like with that, I'm getting a gun pointed at my head. She's afraid that that's going to happen to one of her kids. Probably not. Like logically, as the player, wouldn't happen. Character doesn't know that.
The character doesn't know that. The character, the first thing that happened was, "Oh, hey, I'm here from a barbecue." Okay.
And, she's arguably the most level-headed of her family, given the fact that she's in her mid-40s, compared to a 17-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So
yes.
it would definitely be an interesting thing, but I feel like Magpie has probably already met the kids, so she trusts her with the kids. To an extent.
Probably. Due to various background reasons, I will say that yes, Magpie probably seen at least one of them.
Baby's first drone came from Magpie.
Oh.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I did mention that Elliot was very much into tinkering and all that. Like her son is very much into tinkering, and so I feel like that probably played into something of like, oh yeah, my son's into this, and Magpie just comes up, give him this.
Yeah, like
not even a build drone.
Yeah,
a kit for one.
Yeah,
just
like
a box.
He probably got a recommendation from Magpie as well for her old high school where she learned all about like mechanics and all that shit.
You know those little like vector robots where it's like that little cube that's kind of like a pet robot?
Oh god, yeah.
I feel like Elliot probably built one of those.
Out of
so,
a radio and
cat, they have a vector.
I want one of those robots. They're so cute but so expensive.
I agree.
I know nothing of robotics, so I can't even build one from scratch.
Oh.
How about you, Panda?
Panda certainly does love and trust most of the party.
Most, okay.
Most. With the exclusion of Lemuria, like, I'll save your life, but also fuck you.
I'm so shocked by these revelations.
Like, it is what it is. We work together. He's an acquaintance. I'll save his life when now and again. Yeah.
But only on missions, not in free time.
Mm-hmm. So, in the rankings, Magpie, BFF, and Crafter Friend. John, BFF from way back when, but they can acknowledge that John has changed and been through a lot, and they aren't exactly the person they knew, but they still love them regardless.
Mhm.
Nano, Panda has started seeing you as more human than Lemuria. And
Definitely, by
it's
the way.
almost
Yeah.
always been that way. No.
I love
Don't
that.
get me wrong. Panda sees Nano as more human than a lot of people. Like, they can notice that she's definitely getting there, and she just seems to be a good person. But sometimes she just does some wild shit for a good reason. But it's some wild shit. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
we're trying to have some burgers out here, and a gun gets pulled out. Oh no, not at the family cookout.
God, that is gonna hunt me for a while, isn't it?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Also, as a player, I can agree, and I fucking love it. Because I love that the war droid has more humanity than most of the humans in this campaign.
Yes. Also, the only reason Panda's so much like, yeah, it'd be nice to meet their charge because Panda considers Nano as family.
So
Yes,
it's
I
like
want to meet family's family.
yeah, it's like meeting your sister's kids for the first time.
Yeah.
I have a question for Nano.
Wait,
Oh.
time for the shortest answer yet. Lemuria, what do you think of the party?
Hate them all.
Amazing.
On
not
site.
Nope.
First answer.
Couldn't have asked for a better answer.
Can you be a
Like,
bit
yeah,
more detailed?
he is resisting every possible attempt to like becoming part of this family for various reasons, but mainly because any one of us could die at any moment.
Oh,
Yes, but what is the point of living?
this is a lot cuter than I expected. What the
Get
fuck?
the human body back. He's got goals. Fuck you.
You're already dead. Give up.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm sure
Harry,
there are
finish
some
up.
cults. I'm sure there are some cults that do necromancy.
Yes, there are.
Well,
I mean, of course there are.
it's a matter of looking into the right places. I'm just gonna say this. There are a number of it. I'm gonna say this like this. For all that you guys know, death is final.
For all that we know.
For all that we know.
Yes.
For all that you know, death
And I
is
s-
For all
final.
that we know.
Like,
There's a few loopholes we haven't talked about yet.
yeah,
Also,
we have a counterexample in the party to that.
yeah, Lemuria died and then got put back.
Yeah.
And then. But I just want to put another thought into your heads. Imagine what Dr. Frankenstein could do with gate crashers.
Huh, fuck.
Mhm.
I suspect a lot of Mauler clones.
But a gate crasher mutates into their perfect body. How would combining bodies to one brain work for that
Oh,
brain?
Well, I'm fairly certain that like body dysmorphia is probably something that the monster, Frankenstein's monster, had to deal with.
Probably, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Also, it doesn't matter like what brain it is in. It's the ether body,
It's an
the
entirely new
soul
consciousness.
that matters. And
I mean, you're basically putting like a soul into another body. Like this works for Lemuria because it's a chip. If the soul was directly into the body, that would be
Massive
a
air quotes on it worked, by the way.
I mean,
sort of hurts.
You are conscious. You're not going crazy every single day.
Also, on this note, my question is, at the gate crash, do gate crashers morph into their perfect body at that point in time, or the perfect body that they will have, the most perfect body that they will ever have?
Basically, it's a matter of on the gate crash, your astral form is reflected as best as possible into the real life. So, as we said,
Can I pick up on that?
Yeah, sure.
To explain Lemuria's astral form, the giant snake, would not be sustainable on the material plane, the meat world in our world. So he would become the closest approximation to that. So he would become something akin to a naga.
Yeah, I understand it, but my question is, what of those whose astral forms are shifting?
The astral form itself tends to be a
Quite
fairly fixed.
solid thing. A baby that is born has already got an astral presence.
Okay.
So it does not. It's not like an implant you can replace that you suddenly go, well, instead of a penta tower, I'm not gonna be a lion tower. That doesn't happen.
I was dealing with a lot of issues. I'm so sorry.
What?
Well, but writing, it was me dealing with a lot of issues at the time. So I'm so sorry about that.
Does that kind of enter your question or not? Because I still see you thinking.
Not really. Sort of, yes, but not really.
Let's put it this way. I think I need to answer it differently. People that gate crash, let's put it this way. It's not completely accurate, but to put it simple, people that gate crash have a tighter link to the astral plane, which is why they get triggered to changing. There is more to it, but for simple explanations. Yeah. Which means that they are, in some way, shape, or form, already familiar with the body they have on the astral plane. They could have dreamt about it. It can just be a subconscious feeling. They could have been to the astral plane somehow and seen it there. So when they change, it feels like, okay, this is familiar, this is okay, this is fine. People that are not as tightly knit to the astral plane won't go through that gate crash. So they won't be aware as much of the fact that their body can have an alternate state of being. So it's not necessarily that the body you get will be the perfect body to solve all your issues, but it will just feel like an improvement. It will feel like getting closer to what you're meant to be.
But what if you feel like what you meant to be always shifts, or shifts every now and then?
That is when mutations like chameleon skin and stuff come in. So there are mutations that are more malleable. Just simply looking at the mutation chameleon skin. Panda has it. They use it to become invisible. Bizarra, who is a Naga socialite and a media star, can't turn invisible. Their chameleon skin, well, her mentality won't allow her to use the chameleon skin that way, so it doesn't work that way. It also only affects her scales and not the human part of her body. So part of her appearance is ever changing because of that chameleon skin aspect to them. But the overall body remains the same. There's a difference between dyeing your hair and getting horn implants.
Yeah. I think this more or less answered my question.
Yeah, we can explore it a bit more. Like as I said, when I wrote this goes into authorial intent sort of thing. When I wrote the whole gay crash thing, I was dealing with a lot of gender identity issues. I still am, but in a lot of my writing, even before this game, even before Tio Gaia, there were heavy themes of meant shape and body. Meant like a lot of transformation. Meant you were meant to be like this instead of this, sort of thing. So I guess that kind of is what happened during the writing as well of Tio Gaia, which then translated into the gay crash of the game. We can definitely explore these sort of questions a bit more if we want to try and represent as well other aspects. But as Don said, we can have more malleable mutations that will better reflect someone who might go through different changes as well.
That was my question. Basically, just like as a point from like a point of view of a fluid person.
No, yeah. I get what you're getting with that. No, we can definitely have a couple of mutations that can reflect more, even because I myself want this to be very inclusive as well. So if we can have that, we will work on some mutations that are more...
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it also, in part, might be a phrasing issue. It's not like you wake up and this is, oh, heaven's gift, perfect body. This is just a body you are more comfortable with than the one you left. So the perfectness is not pinned to a moment in time. It's more a feeling of relief.
You at least feel connected to your form. There's this part in Tio Gaia. It's not a spoiler, but in Tio Gaia, basically, we're talking about this. There's two gay crashers talking about this. The main character was a zoomorph and a femorph gnome, right? And they go. There are calls that basically worship the red zone because that's where they know the gay crash happened. So they want to get this connection. They want to get what they see in gay crash, like a sort of rightness in body sort of thing. They want that as well. And people sometimes get that, even after birth or after the gay crash. Mutations still happen in determined cases, but that's a whole other thing.
That will be explained also in the compendium where we have...
That's beyond basic stuff. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and basically when we talk about this, we go, people want this connection, but they don't realize that's not the be-all and end-all answer to all your problems. Like, you feel a lot better in your body. Great, you're still fucking broke. You're still in the fuck job market. You're still depressed. Like, shit still happens. You just feel better, and that helps.
And also, it does not necessarily have to be gate crash or high ether exposures. It can also be if Panda hits high enough levels, she can physically alter somebody as well.
Oh, because of with Corpus, right?
With Corpus, she can basically force a body to pull their form from the astral plane if she hits high enough ether count.
It's normal. Along with that, do remember, even as a human, you are not fixed into normal human form. Bioaesthetics exist and are really affordable. Like, even as a human, if you want to change something, you can do it like that. Even better, because you're not tied to the whole gay crash form.
So, Jerry, I have a question for you.
Do tell.
Penis implant.
Oh shit! Yeah.
True.
Oh god.
We are on Twitch.
I mean, it's a medical procedure.
I mean, we are marked as for mature audiences, are we not? So I guess.
Yeah, we're marked.
I use the scientific word.
Yeah, exactly. Like
there are alternatives for Viagra that are a more permanent solution.
Oh, but you basically
Permanent boner. Ha!
No, it's just enlargement surgery.
I'm gonna say this: as a human or as a synth, you have a lot of freedom over your body as well. And I'm talking a lot. The difference is this one. As a human, you can use your body as a canvas. Okay, you can go, oh shit, today I want striped skin. Fuck it, you can. I want a different set of genitals. You can. I want bigger, smaller. Well, you can do this stuff. You're in a day and age in which medical miracles are
Our
every
baseline.
day. Like it's just a matter of you have the credits to do it. You can do it. Like you can get certain things as easy as you will get a tattoo, basically. What the Gate Rush does for is giving you a very deeper sense of rightness in body. And that is why a Gate Crusher has a lot more problems in implanting. Because you're starting already from something you already feel good in, and you're doing things to it, you know?
You're fucking up the game, shorty.
Yeah, it to some gate crashers, getting an implant might almost feel like self-harm because they're damaging their body.
They will do it if they need, like if you lose an arm and you can't buy a new one, they will do it. They will feel a lot shittier about it than for a normal person.
Yeah. If you lose it, it is loss.
I mean,
regrowing limbs is quite common these days.
It's a thing. You can do it. Like you can bat grow your stuff. It's not that you can't.
Hell, if you lose your legs and you suddenly decide you want to become an athlete, you can get more muscular legs if you want.
Muscle.
Yeah. Sports is very interesting these days. We haven't tapped into that yet, but it's very interesting.
Oh, it changed so much in the setting. Like you have so many other options, and there's this thing that I wanted to create. This goes into the whole where if this goes successful, what are we doing next, right? And I do have a number of corollary projects that I have for Sprita, for multimedia stuff, right? And one of this is this management game. I'm talking about PC game, not talking where you are managing one of urban combat teams. There's this sport, which is this very spectacled combat between two teams that takes place into a block. And you have a number of things that you can keep in mind, like where do you take your team members? Where are you bribing the referees? Are you sabotaging the other team's spawning zone? Like you can have all number of things, but this is really down the line sort of stuff. We're talking years here.
Yeah,
it pays to scum.
Back to Nano. I have a question for Nano.
Okay.
I would say that last time we've seen quite a different side of Nano. What I'm asking is, was there some sort of sense of revenge or spite for the fact that someone left the party? And as such left Nano's circle of influence. Did that play a part into the whole, oh, I'm going to just go and say, oh, John is not with us anymore, sort of thing?
Oh, no, the phrasing, first of all, is their lack of social skills.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
They have never really learned how to speak without hurting people. She has picked up on certain things dealing with her charge because a muted teenager gives very good feedback.
Yes.
but that was kind of her ineptness in that kind of situations.
Okay.
Well, first of all, she's had free time, which is the first change in behavior during this campaign that we've all had. Because we've just been running and going, and now she had a moment to breathe. She is still considering them working together with Martis Corp to solve this case of the plaza. So she felt obligated to debrief Newman so that he was aware of the new information, so their investigation could also proceed. And she does hope that he will extend the same kind of courtesy when it comes to it. About John leaving her sphere of influence, she adopted all of them in some way, shape, or form, felt responsible for them, wanted to help them improve. And John was almost like that difficult kid that deliberately gets into trouble that you had to deal with.
Oh, fuck, yes.
Oh, yes.
On the spot.
And in some way, she was like, okay, I'm letting you go now. Because I have to, not because I want to. But I'm gonna make sure that you don't leave this unfinished. So I think she kind of like, whether it would have worked out that way or not, wanted to push like a final momentum type of deal. And I think there's some small part of her that like questions if she did something wrong to cause him to leave. Which I think is also partially what prompted the conversation with the surgeon to prevent that from happening with Magpie as well.
Ooh.
But I don't think she necessarily behaved that much different than she usually would. She just had the time to do things she would have been doing.
Okay, I see.
Like, she still plans on having a chat with Lemuria's friend that ran into them at the park that she's scared of. She still plans on having a chat with Dennis away from Panna's prying eyes and ears.
Oh yeah, does that mean that Nano is technically Dennis's grandmother then?
Ooh.
Since Nano adopted us all.
Well, she technically went and took him out of Old Town, so technically. And I also want to make it very clear, she does not hate Dennis. She does not want to kill Dennis. There's just a certain hierarchy, and she's more willing to sacrifice his freedom or happiness to her charges. He's not gonna die. He's just gonna be removed.
Please don't traffic my kid.
Oh no, I'm not sending him overseas in a shipping crate like I would Lemuria, don't worry.
Please traffic Lemuria.
Speaking of,
I will take over Madagascar.
I'm not sending you to Madagascar. That sounds like too much fun. She would not send you there. She will probably send you to like some
going for
East
one of the sequels.
European country.
My God, Lemurian Poland.
Yeah, send him to Hungary, please.
Oh, speaking of Lemuria, twofold question here.
I'm gonna grab some more water.
First, we've seen Lemuria starting to get help.
Mm-hmm.
How did Lemuria feel about, taking this first step?
Vulnerable as fuck. Like, incredibly self-conscious.
Understandable.
But also, it's when you start looking at yourself and going, wow, I've fucking broken Panda. This is great. And you go, oh, maybe I need help.
Yeah, makes sense.
Amazing.
And another question is about the last flashback that Lemuria had.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel to see the people responsible, or at least partly responsible for your current condition?
That was a flashback?
No, it's not. It wasn't a flashback. It was the connection to to your astral body, like getting back to your astral body and seeing the people working there.
Like, it was more
The
of a...
last body back.
It was more of a certain... Oh, well, naturally, of course, there were people here. This is an office. What the hell was I expecting?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, I can't say much about that.
Yes.
Honestly, I was expecting it to look more evil, but...
I mean, I always try to make things interesting.
That's an understatement, yes.
Only see it deal in absolutes.
False, it's the Jedi.
Yeah, it is. That's absolutely true. But Jedi's fucked up.
Obviously, there's only Sith deals in absolutes, and therefore I am dealing in absolute. It's supposed to be the sound of pouring out vodka there, but alas.
Please don't pour that vodka out.
No. You may
And if you hear us,
no absolute.
But yeah, what about the connection back? Like knowing that you can get back to the astral plane now, like you can actively pursue that instead of it being something happening to you.
I don't know yet.
Something to explore. Magpie.
Yes.
I will say that the relation with a surgeon is developing.
We could say that, yes.
How does Magpie feel about this?
She feels good about it, I would say. Probably, yes. She haven't had a stable relationship in a while, so.
Is she scared?
A little bit, yes. Definitely. Definitely. Yes.
Mood.
Especially with the whole thing going on with Rockstar as well, that asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, but again, that's a good one as well. So, Rockstar speaking.
Oh no.
Question yet?
Nothing with Rockstar is good.
Indeed. Well, I mean, sex is not too bad.
Except maybe his sister.
Well, maybe not even that. I mean, at least it's competent. I will say that.
Yeah, his sister looks like a nice person. I'll just say that.
But how does Magpie feel about, like, I will say in this downtime there's gonna be like more dates, probably more preparation. How's that dealing with Magpie's head? Like with the whole, I'm establishing a connection here. Like what, or is she not? Or
So
what's happening?
she sort of is, but it's not that much of a romantic connection, so to say. It's just Magpie maybe realizes that maybe this guy is an actual person as well, and not just the major dickhead that he actually is, even though he is a dickhead.
Oh no, he really is.
He really is. Yeah.
If you've got a thing for dickheads, then Murray's the man for you.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I mean, like as in a vile dickhead, not just like a standard dickhead like Lemuria. Yeah, like
You know, I'm a bespoke dickhead.
okay, you're a bespoke dickhead, okay, but yeah, like Magpie definitely does not agree with his ideologies, so to say.
Well,
Certain things.
Lemuria would be ideal for Magpie. She could literally change his body whatever she pleases.
Old man robot.
Old man
She could
Robodeck.
literally DIY build your own boyfriend.
True. Who says
Since
Magpie
skin is
wants
a
a
thing.
boyfriend? But yeah, like she probably like tries to like argue with him, change his mind on a couple of things during the dates and when they talk. Whether that's successful or not, well, yeah, that's up to you.
That will be up to the pre-stream prep session and the rules.
Yes. The 8 ball says it's highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Yeah, somehow I thought that. Sorry, there was a bug inside.
Paul says, nah.
There is hope, Magpie.
Yeah,
There is hope.
the 8 ball
All we have
says,
to
how about
do-
no?
All we have to do is get Lemuria back into a human body so he can use Ether again, and he's a Mentis user so he can alter his mind.
No. I want
Easier
him.
than talking to Rockster.
I want him dead. Remember what he made us do? I sort of want him dead for that.
Well, I've done far worse.
I know you did, but Magpie have not. Magpie is about to do far
How much
worse.
control
To
were you in,
Rockster.
you know? How much control were you in?
Not much, but
How
still.
much control? Full control.
Grand.
I just don't remember any of it.
I mean, you're talking to a war droid, or about a war droid.
Not only a war droid, I was in charge of like leagues of robots to take out.
She was in charge of killing innocents.
Yeah,
I mean, one could argue, what is the
Since
control
nobody-
if you were programmed to do it?
Yeah.
I wasn't programmed.
You
Not
had
to
your
that
orders.
extent, at least.
Were you
Because
taught
nobody has really
against
asked
doing
yet.
stuff like that?
I'm just gonna give a little teaser. Nano is an acronym.
Kind of
One
figured.
of the N's stands for neutralizer.
Mhm.
Oh god.
And that is all I'm
I
gonna
have
say.
a feeling
out of
she shut
campaign.
down a lot of protests.
I mean, this brings a very interesting question as well. Nano.
Cheerio.
This is the first time that Nano had to deal with the fact of remembering things. I ask as Leon exercises.
No, I'm happy stimming. Sorry.
Ah, nice.
He's cute.
He really is. He's adorable.
What exactly do you mean?
Basically, as you said, Nano did far worse, but didn't remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Well,
Nano
not much. I remember killing the tech guy. I don't
well,
remember
okay,
killing the gate crashers because I wasn't allowed to store the visual.
No, I agree, but at the same time, you still have quite a body count that you now have memory of.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make Nano feel? Like now being able to remember this sort of.
But she's doing a good job, and she can actually keep track of her job this time.
True.
Pear?
Fair.
I just told you these were my children. If anybody looks at my children wrong, they're dead.
Good to know.
I want your family dead.
All right.
Like if John had given any indication that he didn't want to go into Old Town, Black Hat would be dead and strung above a building.
Lynched.
On site.
I have to say, like the brutality of attack guys was quite something.
Oh no, she has two people in mind: people she cares about and people she doesn't care about. One can die, the other can't.
No.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Fair.
Directives, baby.
Anyone else have questions?
Remember, you can ask about the other campaigns as well, not just the menagerie.
Oh yeah.
Well, we are lacking part of that campaign, but I have a question for everybody that plays in Dragonthorn and Lyrium.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
When that door closed and the countdown started, what was the one item you wished you had?
A fucking
Noose.
whistle.
A brain. Definitely a brain. Yeah, I'm gonna go
More
with
than
brain.
2 brain cells.
At least 3.
Oh.
Lincoln?
Yeah, noose.
A noose.
A noose?
But where would you hang it? I mean, there were the statues, I suppose.
Listen. If you're determined enough, you can do it.
Exactly.
Like,
He's right.
there have been enough.
Wood dwarves that should be tall enough.
Just like pin it to the wall, just a bit above where the head would rest if you sit down, and just strangle yourself by sitting down. Like that's how a lot of people in prison do it.
Yeah. Let's not
You
go.
have
Children.
sugar, Leon.
Children.
And now Leon is on a couple of
Sometimes
lists
I
as
just
well.
don't fuck with them.
Listen,
Sometimes I just do not be fucking with y'all. Y'all
I will admit, I may have at one point had a true crime podcast phase.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's typical.
I think everyone has.
I
Yeah.
haven't.
Y'all on that whack shit.
Never heard of it.
I had a CSI and then CIS phase though.
Yeah.
That was on TV after I got home from school, so.
I never got into CSI.
I'm just gonna say NCIS Abby.
Abby.
Yeah.
Fucking love her.
Abby.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
one of my ex-girlfriends, she was like, she once invited me over to her house because she was like, she was binge watching all 16 seasons of CSI, and she invited me over to her house because she was like, please, I need to watch something other than CSI. So we watched anime instead.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had the Bones phase as well.
I never seen
Oh,
Bones.
Well,
yes,
which is
Bones.
good.
Like at
I
one
love
point I
Freedom
wanted to
Grandma.
become a forensic anthropologist.
Oh.
I liked Castle. That was a good one.
Castle was so fucking
Okay,
good.
like
Oh my god.
like come on, who doesn't love Nathan Fillion?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's the one thing I'm gonna say. Like who doesn't fucking love Nathan Fillion?
I just
I quite like our Deception and White Collar.
Ooh,
Don't think
No.
I have watched those.
Deception is there's this magician that turns out to be twins, and they have been hiding one of the two twin brothers from the public so they could do this amazing teleportation magic without people knowing they were twins.
ooh.
That's the Prestige. That's the Prestige movie, isn't it?
And
Sort of.
And then one of
Thanks
the
for fucking spoiling that one.
One of the two twins gets framed for murder. So the other one joins the FBI as a consultant to help solve cases so they can look into the murder to prove the innocence of his brother. So basically what they do is they use concepts of magic such as misdirection and like swap tricks and such to catch criminals.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that like The Mentalist?
The Mentalist, yeah, I love that show as well.
Kind
Yeah,
of,
that was good.
In White Collar, you have a conman that gets the choice between jail or working for the FBI as a consultant, and he just does his own thing while working for the FBI while maintaining.
Amazing.
They're both quite fun, I recommend it.
Like the Deception one reminded me of The Prestige. It's one of my favorite movies. Like the one with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. It's basically like the similar.
That was Christian Bale.
Yeah, this was Christian Bale. Scarlett Johansson is in it as well. So basically, there are these two rivaling magicians, and one of them, as it turns out later during the movie, is a set of twins that does this teleportation thing. Spoilers! And the other one tries to do the teleportation with science. Science! It's really good. And obviously, one of the twins gets framed for murder and shit like that.
It's got David Bowie playing Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, now I need to see it.
Well, there's no point now. It's been ruined.
Still worth to watch.
Hey, I've seen Jurassic Park 100 times and I'll still watch it every time it's on.
Yeah.
But
It's a Christmas movie in Hungary.
Oh my god, it's the T-Rex. What a twist.
It was the T-Rex.
How delightful.
Listen, I still read the Jurassic Park book after seeing the movie 100 times.
But the book is so different.
Oh yeah, the book is really different for the
out.
Prestige as well. It's really good, the book as well.
Like the book, the Jurassic Park books makes John Hammond basically the villain.
Yeah, I like to make the comparison because I do like both equally. Usually, I tend to favor the book more than the movie, but I like both equally. It's more of the mindset you go in. When you go into a movie, your mindset is usually I want to sit down and have a good time and not focus on stuff like scientific detail. But if it's there, it's nice. And with a book, you're more like I want there to be a cohesive narrative and all this kind of world building and how it all because you sit down and you think about it and you're with it for so long that you need it to be all of that. With movies, you can hand away a few stuff away, for cinematography and narrative stuff and all that.
I'm sorry.
We got off track.
Yeah, we got way off track.
The logic of the media is held to a different standard.
That's fair.
Oh, that's true. Various medias are held to very different standards on what they do. Honestly, I don't really see it as a necessarily bad thing because there are very different ways to convey a story.
Yeah, every medium has their own language.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Magpie, Kara.
God, yes.
So now you got some sessions under your belt.
Yes.
How are you finding your position as a DM?
Terrifying and confusing.
Oh, welcome to the crowd. Welcome to the fold.
Hey.
Please go ahead.
I think I made mention that I was a DM for a party for like 3 sessions. I feel like if they could see me now, they realize they dodged books. I'm a moron.
Let me tell you, I am a moron as well. Like, thank you very much.
Yes, but you tell a cohesive narrative.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So, I have a question for Linkus.
Oh,
okay.
You mentioned that you made changes to the tone of your campaign or the reasoning in your campaign because of the current situation.
Yes.
How different would our latest session have been if the current things weren't happening?
Very different. Yeah. Now is really not the time for trying to get nuance and dissect the human mind of a racist.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Yeah, but how would the story
Yeah.
have gone? I'm curious.
Well, I'd have probably it would have been a lot more focused on like the victims of terrorism
Hmm.
rather than the glorious revolution. Like I would never have used the words revolution. It's all about context. The
So-
same things would have happened, but they would have been phrased very differently.
So we would have been just more
Different perspective
terrorists.
on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and for everybody playing in the Dragonthorn name Sunrise Star, when that tavern went boom, what item were you most concerned about that was still in the tavern?
Honestly, the weighted spear. Because I was like, this thing kind of thicky, and I liked using it.
Probably the musket
was just
for
like-
Kiva. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So
And the
you were
scale
saying
mount.
Kiva? What would Kiva have been most worried about?
The musket we just looted because, as a little bit of retcon, Kiva had the scrolls with her, but it would have been the scrolls if she had left them in the tavern.
Yeah, because before that moment you did specify that you left them in the tavern when we went to the temple.
Yeah, when we went to the temple, she definitely left them in the tavern, but I'm not sure if she would have had it with her when we went out to the field. But more probable since less chance of running into low enforcement.
What about Nyx?
Nyx definitely would have been the crossbow that he bought because, I mean, out of character, Liam did make a good point of, yeah, it's probably not the best to let, citizens, walk around with weaponry in a civilized society. Which is something I very much agree with, because I find it concerning every time I hear someone is carrying a pistol with them, which is quite often since I live in Texas.
Yes.
So, it's a situational thing because I'm thinking in a D&D Pathfinder, medieval setting. I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be more natural for people to have weapons on them because you have stuff like goblins and all these creatures, kind of just
Where,
that
whereas
could
I'm sort
attack.
of
Go ahead.
no, carry on. I'll let you finish your point first.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like it'd be more natural to have that weaponry because it's not as, I don't want to say civilized, but kind of defensible as we have it now, because we don't have to worry about modern day wolves coming in and attacking our houses or all of that. The main reason that a lot of people carry guns out here is wild hogs and snakes, because a lot of us live out in the boonies, and those are actual threats. Because we have a lot of
the wild pig.
Yeah, well, because it's wild boars are.
Those things are fucking huge.
They are omnivorous and vicious, and they will kill you. And we have those everywhere. It's one of those laws where they're shoot on sight. You can't hunt deer out of season. You can't hunt a bunch of stuff out of season. Boars, shoot on sight. Doesn't matter. They're an invasive species.
Sweet.
So
okay.
And copperheads are definitely a bad thing, which are very venomous snakes. That also will kill you. So that's two things we have to worry about, which is why we have which is why a lot of people out in the boonies have guns. But it just it felt more natural for me to have it in there. I'm thinking like, yeah, I mean that's true, and especially because this is a town with probably like a wall around it, kind of like like the defensive walls, it's like with like a moat around it and like a bridge.
Yeah.
I think I have to clarify because of where I live.
This is sort of what I'm running this as, because the medieval age is in the past.
Yes.
Like high fantasy, it's still high fantasy, but it's sort of
Renaissance fantasy.
Yeah, it's reaching the point of civilization where you've got this this relatively minor town in these lovely walls that protects them from all the wolves, and has plenty of these guards with guns and pikes.
Yeah, and the citizens, like the civilians, don't have to worry about that. Which is like, yeah, but also like we're kind of shit out of luck because we could have people attack us and we don't live within the walls. So I thought it kind of was like a perspective shift for me, and I'm thinking, okay, but I kind of would like to have this on here just in case. Which is still a very weird thought for me because I would not touch an actual gun with a 39.5-foot pole.
No, but it's making
Very
you
specific.
consider, and I'm feeling very pleased with this.
Yes, and it definitely caused some deep thinking for me. But the
and
crossbow,
for the benefit of everyone in the audience, I am not pro carry weaponry. I'm not massively against it, but I'm definitely not pro it. I'm certainly not for racism. I am against racism. But what I want to do is have people start thinking about these things in psychological. Okay, why do I feel more safe with a sword right now?
yes, and it's one of those things where I'm very anti-gun, like abolish guns. I don't really support guns at all, and you put me in a situation where I think actually I would like this weapon.
Yeah,
Which I
being
think
in that
good on you.
situation might then allow you to start thinking, what is this weapon giving me that is making me feel safer, and how could I replace this with something else?
Exactly.
Magic! Fireballs!
I am one caster in this. I am one
Fireworks.
caster in this party.
I mean, once the fireball, you still have use magic device.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
but
I
the
don't have
wand's
any
a
spell
weapon.
slots.
Yeah, the wand is a weapon. That shit's gonna be complicated. You weird little app humans. How dare you be all foreign?
So, guys, when we
yeah.
go back home, I can make a pouch for Sazai, and we can hide our magic stuff on Sazai.
Oh yeah. On that note, what about
Oh.
Grace? What would be the
Oh.
item she misses?
God. Well, all the valuable stuff is back in the vault in town where they keep all her things. In the end, I think she would be disappointed that she changed the handles on some of the weapons with her leather strapping, and it would then just go up in flames.
Mhm.
It would be more the loss of craftsmanship than one
Yeah.
of the actual items.
Look at the table.
Yeah, I was right about to ask that. Yeah, so last session, I mentioned that I wanted to fix up the table. And I was like, yeah, let me just fix it up. And apparently I made it worth a lot. And then you said I went missing when we woke up. And I want to ask, did any of us see it on the cart?
It wasn't a cart.
It wasn't the
It was
cart, yeah.
confirmed that it wasn't a cart.
Woo! Yes!
I was about to ask, is no one mentioning the fucking table that is now worth a lot? About the thing that was getting lost on in the tavern.
It was like the table's missing. I'm thinking, oh no, what happened to the table? Did he sell it? Nope. He just didn't want it to get destroyed because it's valuable. And I'm just like,
he saved it.
but I was gonna ask another question. Fuck, I forget.
How eager is Nyx to get home to wifey pool?
Very eager.
Oh.
Very, very eager. one of his defining character traits is "I love my wife." I keep saying that.
Oh yeah, after the last session, we figured out that half elves are pregnant for a whole year as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this reminds me.
Rest in pieces.
There was this really weird 3.5 book.
The Book of Erotic Fantasy, yes.
Yes, that has the gestation time for all races.
Yes.
And, like,
As well as like what species can breed with each other
yes.
and produce viable offspring.
Do I
it's-
even want to know?
I've
if
got to
Ricky are in there?
say, the pairing between a halfling and a dragon, that's a very determined halfling.
Yeah, no, indeed.
And a very sedate dragon.
And I have to say,
I guess it depends on which gender we're putting where. Because it could be
I
a very
think either way
disappointed dragon.
works.
Yeah, I think dragons usually have like a human form,
yeah,
if I'm correct.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yes, but what's the fun in that?
That's fair.
I have to say, it was a really good book.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was really well made.
But it's an odd terminology. Also, for like a bit of lore information, I'd imagine that. So, I accidentally gave 2 characters the same name. Shit.
Oh.
Sophia, the wife, not the child in the Menagerie game, but the wife in the Sunrise Star. Whoops. I really like that name.
I don't think we've noticed, so you can change one or the other.
Yeah.
All right, I'm changing the daughter's name because I want that name to be Sophia.
Good.
I fucking love that name for that. Sophia is about 4.5 to 5 months pregnant, so it's about halfway through the pregnancy.
All right.
Also, another question for Liam, because I'm very, very curious. So, there was a point where we couldn't get Maud into the game because she fell asleep, because it's very fucking early in the morning, and we have fucked up sleep schedules. You mentioned, like, we ended up playing Jackbox games, but you mentioned that you wanted to do a Groundhog's Day thing where we wake up in the same morning. Do you plan to do that at some point?
What I've got is a metaphorical blackboard filled with possible, like, mini arcs.
Nice.
And this is actually one of the things I was going to ask back about, like, what everyone wants to do next, because I'm fumbling. The dungeon's always there if you want to go into it, but they're not going to force you. They've got bigger problems right now.
Yeah, like a tavern exploding.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to be a problem.
Yeah. So that's going to be a whole thing, because you are going to be questioned by them quite heavily. Like, okay, what did you do with the tavern?
We barely made it out! Of course.
No, I saw you. You were walking away happy.
With a cart, with a table.
No, that wasn't us.
No,
That wasn't us.
Yes, he didn't see that. And he also knows that you weren't acting particularly shifty when you left.
We went to take in the sights.
We have plausible deniability.
Yeah, we just went out to take in the sights and the weeds, and yeah. We were having a nice picnic. As one does.
So we're gonna allow Mickey to do most of the talking, right?
Is
I mean,
this a good idea?
You could say that the situation blew out of proportion.
Oof.
Scary.
Everybody
Try
roll
harder.
1d6 psychic damage.
No, that's already another campaign's thing. Everybody go watch Dungeons and Daddies. We're not stealing anything.
So to the Sunrise Star. So apparently, from what I gathered, you're getting involved into a revolution.
Yes.
By accident.
By fucking accident.
Of course, because I mean,
It's us.
have you seen the parties that we have so far? I think that's fairly common. But how does that make the party feel after spending so much time in a society that hates them?
Let everything burn!
It feels right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grace is just worried it would be more trouble than it's worth.
Nyx has priorities. but he's here for it. Like he's gonna make sure that his family's taken care of and not in any danger in the revelation. But like, if he can make a better world for his family and families like him, he's gonna do it.
Understandable.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
I
question
think
for
this is all going to be very fun.
it is. Now, question for the menagerie. You are slowly understanding more and more of 2070 Cerulean Springs society. You've seen.
Arvida?
Arvido, yeah, that's a good
You're
question.
digging slowly at the surface. Like, you've seen some shit.
We're slowly digging our own graves.
I
Exactly.
mean, yes. You've seen a number of things that normal people don't see, like what happened to the Moria, for example. You've seen all the corporate influence that politics have, which is really not that well. It's really not hidden. It's not said, and no one asks. Basically,
So don't ask, don't tell.
pretty much. That's how things between corporation and politics go. One of the examples would be archaeology blocks that are basically, oh, we're just making a place for our workers to feel safer and to be more conveniently close to work. We are definitely not making just a small block only for our industry. This is all workers for the worker stuff.
Sounds like slavery to me.
No, they're well paid and they have
Sounds like opportunities for the Moria.
Yeah.
But they're all perfectly well paid. They just have to. They can only use these shops that we also own.
Yeah. No. It's not that they only can use those shops, but they won't get the same sort of offers or discounts anywhere else. Remember, one thing that I try to do with this society in Cyberpunk is something that you don't. I might be wrong. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm the first one. Like I'm probably not the first one that did this, but at the same time, what I see a lot of times is this sort of oppressive corporate presence, right, in a general cyberpunk setting. What I try to do here is a lot more subtle. Like, you consume, but it's not like the corporation owns you, but at the same time, the convenience of it all is what owns you. The general populace just give in to the convenience, don't make questions, because making questions is dangerous, because what if we get back to a new dark age? What if we start saying this is wrong? Where the fuck are we going to end? You know?
So, fun little bit of personal information.
Yes.
I live very close to two supermarkets. They are right next door to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It would take me maybe an extra minute to walk to the one that's much, much, much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't.
But sometimes that's just too much of a walk. And I don't feel like it.
And they have better stuff there anyways.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's better quality. Otherwise it wouldn't be so expensive.
I know, right?
It's actually not true. They have better. Sometimes they have better quality shit at the cheaper one.
No, don't tell me this.
Don't break it! Don't break me!
Let me fucking tell you, Lidl has better quality shit than Tesco does. Most of the time.
Oh, no.
How about Aldi?
Aldi is the same as
Lidl
Lidl.
are basically the same thing.
Yeah. And the UK
I'm just confirming that local stores are an option.
I go to the dash bar. We have dash
local
bars.
stores are an option, but they have fuck all, range, so to say.
Like, if you have a local store close by, you're gonna go there. But how many people have a local store nearby? That's
In the UK, not many.
Yeah. Even here in Italy, where I live, you are much more likely to stumble upon a branded supermarket than a small grocery shop. Like I think the only one is really in the middle of fucking nowhere in my city, and it will take like 10 minutes to drive there, and I can just walk to the aisle that is or the desk bar that is right around the corner. But yeah, what I'm asking is, how does the people in the menagerie feel? Like, you will all have lived in this society with the same sort of. If not, let's not ask questions. There is knowing that there are things where you don't know them, but you're starting to see them.
It's fucking scary, dude. It's fucking scary.
Yes.
It's the reason I was built.
Yeah. This is a question. Ooh, Panda. What about
Yeah.
you? This question, like you had contacts with Old Town, but now you've seen a part of a society that is not like the two polar opposites. It's mostly what lies underneath. How is Panda taking this?
Funnily enough, it's kind of expected. The mob wasn't too off from this. It is what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still hurts to see kids get hurt, but hey, do what we can. Can't save them all.
Lemuria?
No comment.
Oh,
I have a question for all the people behind the characters and the DMs.
alright.
So,
I'm just wondering what was like your discovery of the week, your favorite song you ran into this week, the new game you discovered. What was like your happy little discovery this week?
I can answer this one off the bat. So there's a game I'm probably going to be streaming soon because like I started playing it and it just hit me on all the right levels. There's this game called Night Call. It's on Game Pass right now if anyone wants to try it. And you play as a taxi driver who has just been attacked by a serial killer in the town. And what you have to do is you've been approached by this cop that says, "Hey, I know who you used to be, and I either need a fall guy or a solved case. These are your only options."
Oof.
And you just go around the city, driving around town, picking up clues, sorting out evidence, and you try your best to find the killer, who several of the suspects get in your car.
Oh dear.
So at any point, and you have to pick them up at some point, you are in high danger of just getting caught right then and there. And it's so good.
Sounds lovely. Yeah.
Nice.
It's very noir.
Sounds like it.
Mhm.
I also have one.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Stella.
I today discovered that a place that has already existed for like a year, and I must have driven past it several times and over-registered it. But there is a little place called the Forest of Flowers, but in Dutch. And it's basically a field that they have filled with all sorts of seasonal flowers. There's like apple trees, pear trees, cherry trees, there's berry bushes. And you can basically pay a small fee and go pick whatever you like.
Oh.
Oh.
So I went there with my mom today, and we paid like 10 euros, and we got to like pick 15 flowers, and we just got a basket. We got one of those huge baskets, like the flat ones, and gardening scissors, and we were just about allowed to walk around the territory and go look for 15 flowers that we liked. And I don't mean flower as in a single rose, but like an entire string with several flowers coming out of it.
Mm.
And we just went and picked our own flowers, and we made a little bouquet with them.
So nice.
That
Was a lot.
sounds lovely.
So that is my happy little discovery this week.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I love it.
It's so nice.
Anybody else?
So for me, it's not really like discoveries, but I have 3. One of them is that we cleaned the flat with Dean, which was really nice. Second one is that I bought a packet of ice cream in Lidl. It's like these ice cream sandwiches, but it's Neapolitan ice cream in it, and it was so fucking good.
Ooh.
And the third one is that I sort of reconnected with one of my friends from uni. Like, I tweeted out that I was streaming the other day, and he actually came into my stream, and we chatted a little bit, and it was really nice.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
exchange. It was so lovely. Oh, by the way, you want ice cream sandwiches, right?
Yeah.
You find it's called. I don't know how it's called in Scotland, but here it's called cucciolone,
Cucciolone.
and it's this ice cream sandwich with milk, like a milk flour. It's called fior di latte in Italiano. Chocolate and vanilla, and you know you recognize it because the biscuits have little jokes printed on them.
Oh god, I don't think we have that in Scotland. Or at least not in the stores I've been to. But that's so cool.
It's so good.
Like it.
The jokes are shit. Like the jokes are fucking horrible.
Of course, as in like
It's-
Christmas crackers. Like, you are not buying that for the jokes.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good, but the jokes are absolute trash. Like we're talking, not even dead jokes levels. Like
Of course. It's just bad puns.
yeah, it is.
No, like the little one is Neapolitan, so it's vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. And it's like one of the half is between 2 wafers, and the other half is covered in chocolate, and they're just so nice.
It's people. I'm gonna send an image to the chat so you guys can see it.
So, Lingus, Leon, any discoveries this week?
Yes.
Do tell.
Y'all saw the aftermath because I posted pictures to our personal Discord chat, but I discovered I have more power than I originally thought I had.
It's crop top season, y'all.
Yeah, I turned 6 of my shirts into crop tops
Oh,
because I spent most of all of my entire life up to this point thinking I could change anything, and I realized, oh wait, I'm an adult now. I can do what I want, and so I cut 6 of my shirts into various forms of crop tops. So now I have those.
Fuck this. I'm heading out after this, and I'm gonna get myself some ice cream.
yes,
I'm an adult and I have my own.
I'm an adult and I can do it.
Get those
Look at
ice cream
you,
sandwiches from Lidl. They are fucking amazing.
Look at you, Leon, empowering the people. Also, yes, those crop tops are so powerful.
They
Yeah,
That's
really
what I meant.
they are.
That's what I meant by when I put the message. Y'all made me like I have gained too much power. It's like, oh, I'm actually asserting agency over myself.
God.
Lingus?
Mhm. Well,
Then-
I've discovered that I can. That I hate exercising.
Doesn't
Fair.
count. It's supposed
Valid.
to be a happy discovery.
Like
He's discovered that he
Stevie's
positively
living
hates.
with me now, so that's nice. It's not really a discovery.
He's discovered that he positively hates exercising.
Yes.
He discovered he
I
enjoyed
discovered that I love being lazy.
I actually love exercising, but hate going to the gym. The journey itself. Like, I like the gym.
Oh god, yeah.
I just need to get an elliptical and a place to put the elliptical. I'll be fine.
I'm doing some exercise at home. I'm doing squats because ass. And yeah, no, I'm not, the gym is. I will go there. It's just I don't have one close by, and I will have to walk all the way to the other side of the town just to go to the gym. And I'm like,
You already have your exercises by the time you get there.
yeah, exactly. Like, what's the point of doing it if I'm already doing all this?
Like the
all
one
this
I
trip
used
just
to go.
there?
Yeah, like the one I used to go to that was near work. But since I'm no longer working there, it would be an hour just walking there, or like 15 minutes by bus. But it's, yeah, I'm not gonna pay for the bus
Taking
tickets.
the bus.
Yeah.
I hate. So, I have a
Gym
problem with
closed here.
buses.
Who doesn't?
Like, every time, like, I go, okay, I need to go to this place that is on the other side of town, right? And I don't live in a, I don't live in a big town. I live in a 20,000 people town, right? And I'm like, okay, I need to go there. Do I wait for the bus? The time that I spend waiting for the bus, I'm already there if I start walking.
Yeah, that's the problem in small towns. But I lived in, like, I was born and lived in most of my life in a town that has 2 million people. And even with a car, it can take more than an hour to just get across the town. So.
Oh no, no. I mean, when you get to a big enough town, like if we're talking like at least 100,000 people town, at that point, yes, they absolutely take a bus or something. If I go to Trieste, I will take buses. I will take things, even if not really, because even there I go like time that away from like when I went to my gender therapist is in Trieste. I go, if I wait here, I'm gonna have to wait here until the bus arrives. If I start walking, I'm gonna be there in like 20 minutes because it's like 2 kilometers or something. So like,
We have never been this far off track in a State of Sprita video before.
No,
we are
I'm
really
not.
we're really going all over the place tonight. I'm not sure why.
Where did this
As
even
for me-
start?
As for me, I did ask a question behind me, but there was no one there. It was a joke because Don said behind the DM of the players. And I'm like, oh, but where's Don? I'll see myself out in a bit when I go to eat. Don't worry.
Oh, God.
But yeah, well, I started exercising again. I'm gonna try a couple of things that I'm not gonna disclose here, because no.
We're not a fitness channel.
Yeah, exactly. Or a beauty channel, even if you're all amazing.
Oh, right back at you.
Oh, fuck you.
And I finally completed my Age of Wonders collection, at least for main games, which is nice.
Wait,
I
that's
got
a collection for it?
no, but basically, in one of the bundles that are around, there's Planetfall.
Oh.
Yeah,
I should consider that. I really like Age of Wonders.
it's really good. Planetfall, I'm still getting a feel for it. I'm not entirely sure about it. Like, I like the direction we're going. I'm just not sure about like. I really like the fantasy ones, and this is going sci-fi. So I need to have a good feel for it. And I might try, if my computer doesn't blow up, I might try to stream something that I aspire as well, which is, give me a second, I need to remember the name of it. which is what the fuck is that? Sigma Theory, which is a really cyberpunk game, where you basically control operatives trying to get this weird new state-of-the-art research before the others, and basically get it for your country instead of the other countries.
Please don't blow your PC up in the process.
We kind of need that thing running.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try not to blow it up, or to upgrade it before it blows up, which would be really nice. So please, if you can, send us your support.
Now, the question is, are you gonna be streaming it on this channel, or are you gonna make a separate channel for your games?
Not sure. I might make another channel. I don't know. It all it depends. I will say on this channel we can stream things that we can play together. Like for example, Kara, you want to play Battle Trauma.
At one point, yeah, like, no
At
rush.
one point we can stream it here. Like we can.
Like, I'm fine with playing that even if we don't stream it, so, like, it's...
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
No
but
pressure, no pressure.
I mean, a lot of pressure. It's Battle Trauma after all.
I mean, yeah, okay.
So, that's the main issue of the game.
I'm out, guys.
Yes, I
Goodbye.
hear the fireworks.
You're leaving? What?
Oh, I'm just joking. Don't worry, I'm just joking.
Okay.
That pun hurt me. Hurt my insides. my shriveled up little heart.
You could say that it hurt you like explosive decompression.
I'm gonna head out.
Are you actually, Maud?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
Yeah.
once that grill get going, expect food pics.
Yes. Oh god, yes, please. By the way, yes. For
Happy
our
4th of
US
July for everybody watching.
Eh,
Eh.
wasn't my Independence Day.
Eh.
Silly little wayward colonies.
It's an excuse to celebrate. Let's just embrace that part of it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I like celebrating. You like celebrating? I
May
like
return to the
celebrating.
fold one day.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, all countries matter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And with
Because
that,
even ruleless countries can start a world war.
shall we go on break? Have something to eat, then we can come back and make a little recap of everything that happened in all our various campaigns. See if anyone wants to join in for other questions, because we're still missing people from Dragonthorn and Lyrium, or if
In
one of
case
you
they are
people-
joining, yeah.
if one of you people still aren't in the campaign want to join in and ask questions, or have questions asked of you, feel free to. You can come around in our chat through our Discord server.
Yeah, and if the
Yeah.
people who will be playing in one-shots and you know who you are already, just want to come in and introduce themselves.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
Could be quite nice.
Hello. Well, all right,
So,
then.
yeah,
We'll see you all in half an hour.
Yep.
And have a lovely dinner. Stay hydrated, because the heat is fucking killer.
Stay hydrated.
And all that.
Bye-bye.
Drink your
Bye-bye.
orange juice, kitties.
See you in a bit.
See you in half an hour.
Bye.
unboxing video?
People can hear
Yeah,
you
it
as
is.
well. Welcome back,
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I
everyone.
thought you were recording.
So that's enough about cock rings. Let's get back to...
We were just talking about candles with a cock ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just
Yes.
any Ken doll. The best-selling Ken doll ever.
Yes, it was the best-selling one. I loved it.
And it still is. Gay Ken, baby. That's
They
Yeah.
can.
Oh, fuck, that was so great. Anyways, welcome back.
Retcon Ken. Welcome back.
So,
Alright, off the bat, I got the first question. Fuckers, stop it.
Oh no,
Um,
I'm scared.
So, early today, very early, like 2-ish in the morning, I want to say, I sent everyone a message asking what they thought of possible, more communally liked by abnormal names in the Sunrise Star community. And, what it was, I had a whole list of names that we bring up. I had made a whole list of you.
Oh, and that might be the
let's
least
see.
black I've ever heard of you.
Yeah. It's funny that sometimes they forget I'm black. Let's see, for Aquan races like Sahagins and Grippleys, we have seafarers, which that's a nice little cute term for like that community. We have otherworlders, which are people from beyond the standard plane that most walk.
you went with another name first.
I did. Shut
Dun
up.
dun
You can say it
dun!
if you want. I'm not getting copyright.
Frickin'
Fuck you.
planeswalkers!
Yeah.
Yeah, it is sarcasm. I was trying to figure out something to call him.
I mean, technically correct, but probably this came a bit too late after Magic.
It's a
Also-
couple decades, you know.
Just 26 years
It is-
too late.
Landlord. I love that. I'm just now reading because I saw the original one of like the different, like titles, and then I'm just now seeing the interaction after it.
I genuinely
Yeah.
misread it like that.
I hate you all.
Anyways,
Well,
Anyway,
I just see Chara's dumbass joke of landlords.
let's see. For exotic races, we had either overworlders or landlords. Skyhens for the more skyfaring peoples, of course. Underkeepers for the fuckers below ground that care about the them gems and shit, you know what I'm saying? And the Fae, which I'm not gonna explain the Fae. If you don't know what the Fae is, alright.
You know what it is? Get out.
get
I don't know
out.
what you want from me.
Get out.
I don't know what
Fuck
you
out.
want from me. Shit, you got Google. But yeah, what did y'all think of that?
I kind of like the idea of having this sort of little nicknames for various communities. I wonder why.
Honestly, I feel like instead of like the abnormals calling them each other or each other's communities like this, it could be a way for the normals to categorize the abnormals.
I mean, considering the society we're living in, I think that will be a bit too civilized.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, my headphones were fucking up. What were you saying?
it feels like the normals calling us like landfarers or like seaboards or something like that, or that's a little too civil. I feel like they just kind of lump us all together in as abnormals, and then we have to make the distinction ourselves. Going, all right, so you're this, and
Yeah, that was the answer to me saying that it sounds like this would rather be categorization for the normals that they use for the abnormals, then.
That's exactly what the list is for.
Oh.
That was always the intent. I thought I said that.
I thought you said that is for the abnormals to call each other, but what I was saying is for the normals to call the abnormals if they want to categorize them.
Oh, I mean, I think
there would be a lot much meaner names for it.
Yeah, I didn't want to say meaner. It's like a lot more creative, perhaps.
Yeah, these are supposed to be more respectful and loving of an us community.
Yeah, the abnormals might call Nyx a half-born. The normals call him a mutt.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun racism going on.
Yeah.
Fantasy racism.
Also, I've probably come across as incredibly racist in the past hour or two.
No.
A little bit.
Just a time.
I mean, I haven't fought you yet, so you're safe for now.
For now.
We just don't condone violence on stream.
I'm not.
We know.
He's
We
not.
know, don't worry.
You're safer for work than others.
Indeed. Oh, don't get me started. Oh, fucking hell. These days, it's like I remember when I don't use Facebook that much.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why you use Facebook now.
I actually have a question for everyone, by the way.
Oh, the tower.
Yeah.
So, it's actually two questions. So, what is the dream campaign that you want to be in, and what is the dream campaign that you want to run?
Oh god. Oh, this is a big one.
Joke's on you, I'm already running the perfect campaign.
I was about to say, like, I really love the campaign that we're running on as the Menagerie. It's really something that, like, a sort of thing that I wanted to play in a long time. Like, it's one of the reasons why I made this whole fucking thing to begin with, because cyber fantasy, I love it. So, yeah.
Okay, so this is the campaign you would like to play as well, so to say. Okay. Okay, who's next?
I've never DM'd before, but I would say I would like to run a campaign that stars, I guess, very youthful characters trying to survive within a high fantasy setting.
So, like any YA novels?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the dream campaign you would like to be in?
Well, funnily enough,
I know these two are
One
often
of
the
them
very
is-
same.
one of them is kinda on stream
Oh.
right now. Liam, I'm very much enjoying how the campaign has changed in such and such direction. Because I have always liked the idea of a rise against campaign.
Well, I
And
mean-
I have come from a place where you don't really get to rebel against the injustices that happen to you, because that's a danger of getting shot and or worse. So when the rebellion started happening, I honestly couldn't feel happier.
Oh.
God damn it, I'm gonna have to start starting up other abnormal races now, aren't I? It can't just be 3 Sahagin in a tavern.
Nope.
Yeah,
Alright,
that's another
well,
reason why I made the list, because what do they call each other when they're addressing each other at an alliance meeting?
any
You
text bill?
fuckers!
Yeah, it's bold of you to assume that they are organized enough for that.
We can make them organized.
Hello, fellows who just turned up. Blop, blop, blop.
What's up, fuckers?
Oh god. Oh, this is giving me Life of Brian vibes. With all the various prophets going, just trying to organize a religion.
Okay. Laura, Lynn, Linkus.
Oh, no, not me. Okay.
Any of you.
I Phew, that is tough. I think it would be amazing to play in like a campaign where you how do I even explain this? Basically you world/system hub.
Ooh.
So you would like complete the arc in one system and then something would happen and then you wake up in the next system. And like each time as you wake up in the new system, you have to rediscover what you can do in that system.
Don, you have to watch Gone.
Yeah.
You have to watch Gone.
Okay, noted.
And Jerry knows why I'm saying this.
But yeah, no, I do like that idea, I have to say.
Yeah, that is a really cool idea.
And to run? Well, I am building one-shots.
Yeah.
That's true.
Does that count?
Yes.
Yes.
Even though I'm just writing the papers and then handing them to Linkus to run?
Yes, because you can just like do this in the background, like ha 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 ha. Definitely counts.
Laughs evilly in French.
Exactly.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Oh.
See, I was avoiding doing that.
So I'm taking my D&D game. It's the first time I've ever been able to properly run and plan for D&D. So that's why things seem a little bit schizophrenic, maybe, because it's just suddenly all of these ideas they've never really bothered to work because I don't like playing in D&D, so I assumed I wouldn't like running D&D.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just throwing all sorts of things here. Otherwise, my ideal game that I've ever wanted to run. Probably a vampire game.
Ooh.
Coolio.
Well, I'm interested.
Blood and Smoke game. Don't know where, don't know how.
Get me into the masquerade.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to be in a masquerade. Jesus. The fucking political shit that goes on in that sort of stuff.
Well, yes, but this is also why Blood and Smoke, so we don't have to worry about this. Prince still in London.
Good.
Oh god.
Whole new world. It's slightly more powerful powers, but greater penalties for using them.
Sounds good.
What is playing about Cavian like?
You can't.
Oh, got it.
Like in V5, they've toned the Malkavians down a bit, so they're a bit more like there are no fish milks anymore. And they're all like very like they're more the subtle dark milk. Like, my god, it's difficult being schizophrenic type thing. In Blood and Smoke, on the other hand, they went through down by the Requiem, I should say. The path they went down from Malkavians, or Malkovians, they call them, it's a blood disease. It is not a thing that you should be wanting to play.
Oh.
To be completely and irrevocably mad and talking to voices that no one else can hear is not something you should be wanting to play.
Valid.
That sort of makes sense, yeah.
It does, yeah.
What about Julian?
To play, I would love to at some point play in a zombie survival kind of thing. I love that as a setting. Because it has various elements that I love in storytelling, which is an omnipresent threat, the crumbling of society, so you have to make it on your own bands or go solo. Like a lot of like little bits and pieces that I like that I've in common media that has that kind of setting. I just love it. And to run is a campaign I'm actually contemplating.
Ooh.
For any either for this group once we get done with Cerulean Springs, or for an IRL group sometime down the line, whichever one comes first, probably, maybe even both. I will be. It's a high magic steampunk game.
Nice.
Where the premise is not that there is a
How dare you speak of two of my favorite subjects.
but you have to find essentially like Tales of the Wild West, where you have to find a settlement to kind of build a town around. So you're kind of searching through all these different various biomes to find that perfect place where you want to settle down. And through that, you have to go through all these hardships, like territorial battles with these people, or
Bless you.
like there's like a band of outlaws coming out in this town, that kind of thing. And a big reason for high magic is because I got the idea of having this traveling salesman who just makes a bunch of like gag magical items.
Wonderful.
Like if you've ever seen like the Mr. videos of like what is like the most useless magical item, the sort of ogre saying where you can only say ogre while you're wielding the sword. It's like
amazing.
Those kinds of ones, and just like because I love the idea of giving the party useless magical items and seeing how creatively they use that to solve their problems.
Amazing, I love it. No, the thing is with the ogre saying one, do you just say it in your own language or any language?
You just say the word ogre. I don't think it really matters. But you're just saying that one word.
I already know how to use this one.
Yeah, the story
You
behind
create
that one
Masonic.
was... Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but what ended up happening was for that story, how that story ended was apparently there was a thief, and they were trying to find the thief, so they used the ogre saying sword as bait, and so they just waited and went about their business until they heard ogre, ogre, ogre from the distance, and they found the guy.
Amazing.
Oh, you could use that as such a distraction. You just run around with your sword in hand, looking like crazy. Ogre!
Okay. Yes, we can only do that once per town.
Yeah, well, true. At the same time, you might just need it once per town.
Yeah.
I mean, the boy who cried wolf did it twice.
True, but I feel like in this setting, people would wise up.
I mean,
Fairly
depends.
quickly.
What if that
Surprised
is
at what
over?
people don't bother doing.
That's fair.
Oh, you pair up with an illusionist and make an ogre.
that is up to the party.
That's great.
I just gave the ogre saying sword out as an example because that was like the useless magical item that you could possibly get a use from, just not in the normal sense. Another favorite of mine is a sword that has an inscription on it that says, the sword glows blue with the rising of bone, and it's like it glows blue. It glows blue in the presence of undead and brothels.
And then you enter a new town and suddenly starts glowing green. You become more upgrades.
You tell everyone in the party, I could sense a hoe from a mile away.
Amazing.
What's that? I swear there's some story about someone who had like a sword that glows in the presence of orcs and half orcs, and they were themselves a half orc, so they just thought it was a glowing sword.
Yeah, I heard that one as well. I think it was on Reddit.
Yeah. I love Reddit stories. They're great.
They're fucking
So,
great.
turning the question back onto you, Chera, what would be your ideal campaign to play and ideal campaign to run?
Yeah, I would really love to play in a horror game. Probably like cosmic horror, maybe surreal stuff, like that shit. And running is. Would love to run a game where I build it up from the ground, like the universe itself. So yeah, there probably would be magic and some like horror thriller stuff in it as well, shit like that. Sort of want to like experiment with that with the Dragon Age game a little bit, with the weird shit, at least. So yeah.
The weird shit, baby.
Yeah, it seems you have seen some of the weird shit in that fucking room, so I'm happy about that.
How did you like how the puzzle went?
I sort of don't know. I sort of expected you guys to not fight that much technically, but then again, like I was well prepared for a fight. It could have ended a lot worse. There could have been a lot more things that awakened or realized that you guys were there. There could have been a lot of other things as well.
I don't like whistles.
They don't like whistles, indeed.
I really don't.
They really don't.
So
Also, I did not. Yeah?
Did they solve the puzzle?
Yeah.
So my connection to the stream kept going in and out. What was the solution?
They just had to let the countdown run out.
Like I called it, but I wasn't willing. But my character wasn't willing to die for my out of character certainty.
I was sure of that as well. Like I was like, yeah, we don't really have a lot of options here. Like I'm not seeing other solutions, so just fucking let it run.
Yeah, that's a test to see how dumb your players are. Like, read the room and count your options. You only have so many options. But also, I loved the interactions with that. With just Liam's character just continuously pulling the lever to get out to see if you don't see that,
Yeah.
and you just voice changer. Just make like a mixtape out of it.
Amazing. Please do, by all means.
Yeah, I loved that voice changer. It killed me.
It was so good.
Nice. Yeah. And you have another puzzle coming up in the next session.
Oh damn!
Yeah, because we haven't opened the other door yet.
You guys haven't opened the other door yet, yeah.
I mean, we clearly did something good, so we'll see what happens.
That we will.
Yeah, this one poses a lot less immediate danger to you guys. Let's just say that than the room did.
I'm glad, because that started to get a bit scary. I think it was mostly the problem was we would have gotten there, But there was the whole like constantly blaring thing, like Tekla's
Hmm.
little device that started steering people
Yeah,
up.
like, guys, if you dampen the sound on that, the combat might have never have happened.
Yeah.
Like, I was just super content to sit there chilling by the door. Like, I said, that was just me in one of my moods where I was going, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm just going to sit here and make sure nothing comes from behind us. And also make sure we don't get trapped.
I mean, technically, you didn't get trapped.
Yeah, well, technically, you can shut up.
So, more questions?
Hmm.
Apparently not.
Gay.
Indeed.
Always. Like,
Indeed.
that's...
No debate. Gay.
Very good.
Mhm. Everyone that has to listen to this podcast is just like, what the fuck is happening? Why?
Linkus,
Yes.
how aware are you of how aware as a player are you of Skell's life before becoming a robot?
Very little, because I don't contradict, because I've already established the amnesia thing. I don't want to contradict anything that Jerry ends up coming up with.
Mhm. But it's not like you turn to Jerry and like, I would like this or this or this to be part of it.
You can,
Right.
if you want.
I offered some ideas very early on. Things like, the memory thing is because he was studying like memory consuming entities in the deep ether stream.
Mhm.
But then that ended up turning into a mage game anyway, so
Oh god, that fucking guy.
that's what I was initially planning for Skell, but then like it never seemed to come up, so
I mean, it's the fact that we need to, we need to have some. I think we might try to do this. We might try to go with some, from time to time, making some one-on-one sessions, because that might help developing, like having a better development for characters as well. No?
hello.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went quiet.
Oh yeah, no worries. All right. If we don't have other questions, shall we do a bit of a recap of all the various shows we're running at the moment?
Let's do it.
Give me just a second, 'cause I need to connect my phone because I think it died. Just a moment.
Oopsie.
If you guys are going to do that, I am going to tap out because I'm getting sleepy.
Yes, please do get enough sleep.
Well, well.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, fucking died.
Tink tonk. So, Lunkus, what do you
Such
have?
energy in this later.
What do you have planned for us for tomorrow?
Well, I don't plan anything, even though I really should.
Welcome
What
back.
I'm
So-
expecting is
Sorry, go ahead.
what I'm expecting is a brisk interrogation, and then genuinely for me to just ask you all, okay, so what are you doing since the Ofnadwy Castle isn't going to come up as a thing until you're returning home?
Okay.
So I was probably a bit premature on that whole the super
Foreshadowing.
party.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the cosmic band of chuckle fucks.
The cosmic band of chuckle fucks.
That was such a weird session. Like, Kara, your character in that one was amazing.
Oh, poor little Freya.
She's baby. I'm sorry she got stuck with a fucking idiot. Who is less of an idiot than he is shown.
Okay.
Yeah, shall we do recaps before we
Sure
take
thing.
off?
After you.
Lead
All
us
right.
away, Jerry.
Cerulean Springs, the menagerie. The menagerie finally managed to get McCleary's son back to his mother. With that, after killing Dean and after everything that happened, they managed to get some new information about the person that sabotaged the Circle of Unity event right at the very start of his campaign. They figured out that the person that disrupted it was a certain person called the Ravager, who was described to them as this middle-aged man, but with John's contacts, it came out that this person, that Ravager in the mercenary community, seemed to have always been a woman, not really that interested in ritualistic magic. So that's gonna be interesting. They have been enjoying some downtime after the absolute madness that was a couple of weeks since the Circle of Unity. And now we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the next arc. I will say the next arc is gonna be a lot more dungeon crawly,
Ooh.
Ooh.
so we can showcase that sort of aspect of the game as well. Who's next?
I'll do mine. So, in Dragonthorn and Lyrium, our party has finally made it to the Deep Road, and after an unfortunate event, the way back collapsed, but the way forward has opened. They were sent out as a scouting party to make sure that there's nothing in the way, no enemies or darkspawn or anything in the next, like, up the road, so that the caravan can actually proceed once the rubble is cleared enough that the Brontos and the wagons can actually fit through. So in the last session, our party was stuck in a mysterious room with 4 pillars, 2 doors and a lever. And they have to solve this puzzle, which they actually managed to. But now there's another puzzle ahead of them in the form of the door or the gate, the way forward, which is now glowing with some blue inscriptions on it. Yeah, that's where we are right now.
That's where we are right now.
Let's kiss.
So in the Sunrise Star, the party has dabbled in a dungeon. The party has dabbled in some politics. The party has fucked shit up as a different party. And I think the party's just starting to scratch the surface of the incredibly complicated web of intrigues and politicking that's going on here. And I haven't even introduced the actual nobility yet.
Don't forget that we also collected the 10 red acids.
And you got the 10 red acids.
We got 10 red asses. Plus an ass
And
one.
what's next for them is entirely up to them. So I'll probably be wanting answers by tomorrow morning. Give me a solid half an hour to plan the session. I can do that.
I feel like Kiba would want to go back just to make sure that her little witch's hut is not blown up back in where she lived.
It's just the roof of some random tavern, like just blown up. I say random tavern. There is a roof of a tavern that has somehow traveled across the land and landed right on top of your house.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it can happen in the Feywild. Who says it cannot happen in the material plane?
No, I was implying that the rusty anchor landed on your house.
I know.
Oh, good. I'd hate for the humor to be lost. No, that's why I explain all my jokes.
Yeah, I do like to ruin jokes. Sorry about that.
No worries.
All right.
The only way, indeed.
I will say, unless chat has questions, we're gonna wait a moment to see if you guys have any questions for us about our campaigns, about everything, about the meaning of life, I guess.
It's
But
42.
don't expect good answers on that one.
It's 42. That's the only answer. That's the right
That's the
answer.
only answer. You're right.
Just focus hard and focus central.
Give me a second. I might invite the person. I don't know if this person is free.
Ooh, you're getting new friends. I like it.
No, because they were like interested in Cerulean Springs, so I'm gonna check if they're busy. So one response. If we don't get one within 5 minutes, we'll fuck them. It is what it is.
Was this a threat or a promise?
Hmm?
Was it a threat or a promise?
I've learned not to make threats. I've also learned to cast checks. So I'll neither confirm nor deny it being a promise.
So as we wait for
I'll
chat,
just say it has some different wording.
as we wait for chat and to give us questions or for new friends to new friend.
Oh, we have a question, yeah.
Yeah, Scarlet is asking, where do people tend to get their character inspiration from?
Oh, fuck.
So,
I have no idea. I don't bloody know.
I usually go from like a visual idea most of the time. And it either gets there or gets massively changed along the way. Like, Magpie originally was meant to be called Quinn, and she was meant to be still a mechanist, but like her whole family was meant to be involved with some of the mafia down in Old Town, and their house and garage mysteriously burned down, like along with half of her body and face, and that's why she would have got the prosthetics and the skin graft and all that shit. But that's not how the character ended up being. That's not how the thing ended up being, but I kept some of it. So yeah. I usually have like a certain like concept in my head, and from that.
Yeah. I'd say with me it's rather the same, because like you have a really fun concept, possibly very meme-ish, but that's okay because memes can completely be made into actual characters.
Yeah.
Which is how I got both of my Cerulean Springs characters that actually have character sheets right now, actually. It was very much central to the character I had before streaming. Like, the idea of a gatecrasher pop star was just perfection. I had to do it, and that's exactly what it was. and then we got a big fluffy bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My way of creating characters tends to start from a very rough concept, and what I like to do is I have this general like idea of what I want to play. I tend to hover towards mages or magic users in general. I tend to like an investigative character. I tend to like a character with a good mind and good inquisitive behavior. But then I like to play, and I like to see how that forms out as the rest of my personality. Like I start with just this rough idea, but then I like seeing that character interact with other people and develop as a person during the game.
I've got. I tend to just do things when, depending on like whether people say I should or shouldn't do it. Like, I knew as soon as someone said Dragon Age game, I went, oh, that's one of the games that has the elves being Welsh, isn't it? I'm going to be an elf. And I was not disappointed. I don't know. He's turning more and more aloof. I think the problem is like at the end of the day, all of my characters necessarily have chronic depression. So like I can go into it as much of a sort of a I'm like gonna be as friendly and happy as possible, but at the end of the day, I'm just gonna go like I'm just gonna sit in the back of the room, and go not talk to anyone.
Honestly, mood.
Yeah, that is mood.
I feel that my
You cut out completely there, Mode.
Yeah.
God damn it. I was saying I feel sorry because all of my characters are basically the antithesis of that. They're gonna drag you out of that corner.
Or at least we're gonna
Especially
try.
Moxie.
Oh God, Moxie.
Yes. Like, I am personally a
How do y'all feel
dumbass.
about Moxie?
I am personally a dumbass, but I try to more or less vary up my role playing, even if it doesn't show.
I don't
Yeah,
try
I'm just prone to very long bouts of like no impetus to do anything at all.
Scarlet Dulcinea says that I have characters so that I can pretend to know life without depression. Just saying.
That sounds like that's I'm gonna need pics or it didn't happen.
Give me pictures of your fictional characters.
Without
Make
depression.
them nudes.
Hey, I
Send
once
pics.
made a pin above one of my characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leon, I think it's your turn.
What was the question?
Where do you find inspiration for your characters?
Oof. The problems I'm going through. And I will
Say it like
elaborate
it
on
is.
that. So, it's like the struggles that I'm going through, or like my personal dreams that I want to do that, and what character I feel like would best embody going towards that. So I think I mentioned it at one point where John was the embodiment of me trying to figure out what it meant to be a trans man.
Mhm.
Because at the time I hadn't really experienced body dysphoria or dysmorphia. So I didn't know. I have since then felt it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
Maybe it was
weird.
because I was such a tomboy growing up that I never really was super feminine. But once I tried to come out and was shoved back in the closet, I realized, oh, I'm gonna be stuck like this for a while.
I think dysphoria is such a weird thing. As in,
It's a very personal thing too.
Not just that. What I've noted, like at least my experience has been, once you recognize the problem, it hits you harder.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's so weird, like because it's usually like once you recognize the problem, you're like, okay, now I can get. Instead, it's just, oh, I have a problem. Oh shit. Hell.
Yeah, I think that's not just with dysphoria, but then with most of like mental health issues.
Yeah.
Once you recognize the problem, you're just gonna get frustrated because you cannot do fuck all about it. Unless you go to your fucking therapist, which is in most cases really fucking expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so John was that I never really I was just kind of had this epiphany one day, like, oh wait, so this explains a lot of things. Turns out I'm a guy. And with John, it was the same thing because he didn't, in my writing of him, he never felt dysphoria before that, and he was just one day is like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to be a guy. Okay.
I guess that was it. Yay.
Yep.
Good.
And like trying to figure out how to deal with that kind of identity. And I feel like with Regina, it was one of those, because I had just come up with the concept for her, and I've only been 20 for 2 months now, which I came up with John 2 years ago, and since those 2 years, I have had an uptake in responsibility, as well as trying to take a lot more agency in where I want my life to go, which I feel, because I want to do a lot of things with my life that I've now since figured out since I was graduated high school. Because, boy, I did not know what I wanted to do with my life after high school. I now do. And so it's one of those, I know what I want to do, and I know what I can do to get there, but it's a struggle, which is a lot like how I've written Regina, where she has her goal set in mind and she knows how she needs to get there, but it's going to take a lot of work on her end. And with Nyx, it's very much a chronic loneliness and trying to, like, dealing with the fact that I'm lonely, but I know I won't be like that for long, and at some point I will have a home, like, physically, with a family that actually cares for me, and it's mainly, like, wish fulfillment. Nyx is pure wish fulfillment, like has a nice house that he's working on renovating, and a wonderful spouse, and like that's my wish fulfillment.
Yeah,
the millennial dream.
Yes.
Oh god. Yes, dream.
So generally, if there's a struggle that I'm going through, like mentally or physically or financially or what have you, it's gonna end up becoming a character concept for me.
Completely understandable. If I may, what I really noticed about tabletop role playing or role playing in general, even chat role playing, like all sorts of role playing, it's such a good way for people to explore and get in touch with things that they might not be able to normally, like in quote unquote for real life. And I have to say, yeah.
Also, in tabletop games, I'm actually more comfortable with hitting things. I am very much a pacifist in real life.
Flat.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Like, I think that if I didn't have role playing, things will be in a lot more dire in terms of personal experience. is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about all this. It's because fucking hell, that and the people found with role playing have been like such a big part of my life, and still are, and it's just oof, that went very personal. So sorry.
It's
Yes?
okay.
Yeah. Any other questions from chat, from anyone else?
No, I'm good.
If-
I've asked what people want to do tomorrow 3 times. I think that's the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
A
is.
child has come into the room. A child has left the room.
Yeah. If we don't have any more questions or anything else to discuss, I have a channel for us to raid, which is GoJG. They are doing Blades in the Dark right now.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh yeah, go GG.
Yes, Jess is on.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming.
I would like to say now,
Mhm.
I have one person, and they're probably YouTubers, so we'd never do this anyway, that I'll request we do not raid. And that
Okay.
is Cryotic, a man I was a fan of for
Oh,
many years
fuck yeah! No, I heard
before I
about.
learned what he has done.
Yeah, no, I heard about the whole cryotic trouble.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Like, I usually look at the Dungeons and Dragons and Tabletop RPG sections when I look for someone to raid, and I usually try to raid into communities that are around the same size as us, or maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, depending on how we are doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're not.
big shame.
Yeah, we're not. Don't worry, we're not in any risk of hosting pride.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
with that,
Yeah.
thank you for
Official
coming.
statement.
Yeah.
We don't support pedophiles.
Nope.
We don't. We
Like,
really
period.
don't.
There you go.
Maps
Fuck
can
no.
go
That
fuck
easy.
themselves.
That
Anyways,
easy, children.
thank you all for coming. Remember, we do have a Discord server.
Oh.
We're gonna have some one shots in the next couple of weeks. If you want, you can come and play in them. They're gonna be streamed events, so remember that you're gonna be live. But yes, come around if you want to try the system. You can have spot in one of the one shots. And we have really short time, so thank you all for coming. See you all soon. I see you all tomorrow for the Samurai Star at 2 p.m. Central European time. And I love you all, and bye.
Bye-bye. See y'all. And we are off.